So I'm
Thank you
just
for
going to read a
having
little
me.
bit from the bio, yeah, that you sent. So it's Melanie coaches individuals to develop business and interpersonal communication skills so they can achieve success and confidence. Melanie helps people to empower, inspire, and change in their own lives and the lives of others through the art of storytelling. Melanie founded Speaking Styles after overcoming her own public speaking fears and anxieties. Melanie is passionate about helping individuals to share their message and story with the world. So, Melanie, welcome. And would you like to perhaps just share a couple of sentences about your business origination and how it
Yeah.
came about?
Yeah. And yeah, so I would say I've only really started doing my business around since the beginning of the year properly. I kind of was dipping in and out last year, going from being an employee to going, oh, I'll see how my business goes. Oh, I'll just stay here because it's nice and safe. And no, let's just go for it. And yeah, as I say, overcoming my own fear of public speaking, and around speaking styles is because everybody's got their own communication style, and around that storytelling is that I don't want to change who people are. That's their style. I just wanted to help them be able to broadcast that and showcase their story. So that's really about that style, is there's no one size fits all. It's your story. I can just help you with the platform and the tools to be able to share that with people.
Brilliant. And yeah, people are so, stories are so powerful, and everybody's got one,
Yeah,
haven't they? And they're often really keen to share it. So that's a brilliant place to start, isn't it? I love that particular
definitely.
strategy. Yeah, super.
Yeah.
And the reason that Melanie and I are here chatting today is because there was a conversation in the group around ideas for sort of business ideas, how to kind of promote your business, move your business forward. And Melanie shared this sort of golden nugget about using video pitching. And immediately people were like, what do you mean? I need to know more.
No.
So I thought rather than Melanie have to sort of write tons of, a huge long post, it'd just be great to
Yeah.
get her here. So I've
Yeah.
got a few questions, and I do have Facebook up. So if any of you are out there watching and have questions of your own, please do put them in the post, and I'll have a glance over and we'll ask them of Melanie a bit later. So the first question is,
Sounds
what
good.
planted the idea in your mind in the first place, Melanie, to actually try video pitching, especially with a new
Yeah.
business? It's great.
Yeah. So I wanted to share with you a book that I read a few months ago. And I think this is great. If you haven't heard of this person, he's an Australian author, and he's called Tim Reed, and his book is called The Boomerang Effect.
Mm, I'm writing
And
that down.
he has a podcast called Small Business Big Marketing. And his book is all about marketing of every platform. And it was just, when you ever get one of these books where you just think, wow, this is just amazing. I want to do every part of this book. And what he talked about is that in your business, it's just constantly adding value or adding content. And one of the golden nuggets for me in this book was he said that when he spoke to people on the phone, whether it was prospects, clients, customers, is what he would do is when he come off the phone, he'd go and do a video and he would send them the link so that they had the follow up in a video. And I thought, wow, that's going above and beyond. So I decided one day that after getting this person's phone number through a friend who was struggling with public speaking, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to call her at work and say, hey, how can I help you? And I ended up giving her a 15-minute coaching session on the phone prior to her going to do this speaking engagement. And she just, thought this was amazing, thanked me. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to follow up. So I said to her, can I just take your email and I can add it to my monthly newsletter that I send out and you'll be able to get some more tips? She said, yep, that'd be great. So I jumped on, did a couple of minute video, and then I uploaded it in YouTube and gave her the private link. And basically, I reiterated everything that I told her on the phone and gave her 3 steps to do every time she had a speaking engagement. So just jump onto this video and you'll get those same techniques every single time. And she thought this was amazing. She started sharing it with her other friends and her colleagues who have to get up and present. And after that, I just thought that's really powerful. And I thought there's something in that, that if you could actually pitch your business rather than emails, I thought that's more powerful. And the fact that she'd said to me that she shared it, I thought that's gold. If you imagine sending a 2-minute pitch to someone, they could actually share it with someone else.
Fabulous. What a great idea. Amazing. I'm going to get the book. I've written down the name, so
yeah, really,
sure I'll
really
get that.
good. Definitely. And just that my biggest passion for helping clients is around getting on videos. So that's one of my other things, is if I'm asking people and encouraging, supporting people to do that, and I'm not doing it myself, how can you expect other people to do it? So I thought, I need to up my game. I need to start being ahead of everybody else.
Brilliant. So since that first time, is this become a regular strategy now that you employ?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So maybe take us through another couple of scenarios where you've actually used video pitching and gone ahead and used this strategy.
Yeah, so I recently have got involved in a lot of the startups here in the area that I live. And I know that in London it's a really big thing, the ecosystems there, from people that have been over in London. So they're really starting to build that ecosystem here. And I've started to be a part of that and getting into that, because then I can help them with their public speaking and help with their pitches. So I think I've just got involved in that terminology and that startup. And I recently have signed up to, it's a 6-week course with a local business. And they're giving us basically some, for very minimal cost, giving us some really good mentoring and coaching over 6 sessions over 12 weeks. And we got a free 30-minute coaching session with them. And what she had said was, tell me what it is that you need from me. How can I help you? And then she said in the end of the phone call, I want you to pitch it to me. So she said, whatever, she just said, pitch it. So I thought, I'm going to pitch it in a video. Why pitch it in an email and a text? Why not do a video? Because then I become more memorable. I am then that point of difference. So you're going to stand out against everybody else in the group that's maybe going to just send an email or send a text. So I decided to do it in a pitch, because for me, I'm such a visual person. And I think if you can actually communicate what it is that you're looking for and what you need in a 2-minute video, that's going to be really powerful. So again, I did the same. I went on, did a video, and then I sent her the link, and she absolutely loved it. And in that, she's actually shared it with so many connections, not just only in Australia, but in America and also in the UK. So I thought, again, I didn't, you do these things and I didn't realize, wow, this is really powerful. And what she said to me was, she said, you made my life so much easier. She said, because I could watch that 2-minute video, she said, but then I can share it with so many other people. So I think I realize as well as the fact that you want to make it as easy as possible for other people. And again, that's the power of being able to share it. So out of that, she has actually connected me up and down the east coast of Australia and all the different startup hubs. And I've now been offered an opportunity to travel 10 hours north to go up to one of their hubs and help their kids and their adults to be able to pitch and communicate their startup businesses. So that's been really successful, because what happens is she sends the video, she then speaks to them on the phone, and then she connects the two of us. And then I obviously then speak more about what it is that I do, but everybody's loved it because they can feel the energy, feel the passion that what it is that I'm looking to do. So I just thought this is really going to go somewhere to be able to do that. And I've actually used that same video to connect with other contacts that I have around the world to say, this is what I'm doing. I'm looking to test international waters. How can you help me?
Fabulous. Amazing, isn't it? Because as you say, that shareability, you've done it once, you could send it to 1,000 people without having to write the same email. Hi, John. Yeah, I totally get that. That's amazing. Okay. Yeah. And in terms of when you send the video out to people, what do? You just make it just a regular YouTube video, and then you send them a link so they can do what they like with it? Because I know if it's, say, unlisted, they can't necessarily share it, can they? Wait, unlisted they can share, but private they can't, right? I think that's the
Yes, so I do it
difference.
unlisted. Yeah, so I do it unlisted. So it means it's not public on my YouTube channel, but yes, they are able to then share it and go on. And it's interesting on my YouTube channel. I don't regularly put stuff on there. I do need to get a bit better of it. But what I realized was when I go on there, my views are so much higher on my unlisted videos than my public ones.
That's funny. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, people wonder what you're sharing, right? They could see.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, okay, that's so cool. So I love that. I love that story, the fact that people can actually, you can send that to multiple people and it's very
Yeah.
efficient, isn't it? It's efficient for you, it's efficient for whoever's looking at it and what they do with it
Yeah.
next. And I was
That's
talking to a
right.
coaching organization, yeah, just yesterday about working with them, and they said, well, we want to see how, we want to get a feel for how you come across when you're with people. And
Yeah.
instantly, video is going to be the way, isn't it? So I guess you're
Yeah.
removing a lot of the barriers in the first place to people
Yeah.
even, questioning, well, what's she like? Because immediately they can see it. So yeah,
That's
super,
right.
brilliant. Okay. So
Definitely.
the next question is, so how do you actually structure the pitch? I mean, do you have a
Yep.
specific structure? Do you just speak off the top of your head? What do you do?
So I do have some handy stuff that I would love to share with everybody if they do want to have the structure that I have. But
Yes.
what I wanted to start off with first was around when we talk about pitch is sometimes I think that that can scare people because they think, oh gosh, it's like an elevation pitch or it's something bigger than it is. And I wanted to just break down before I went into my structure around let's just remove the word pitch. Let's think
Mm,
about past experiences that you've had, right? So when we look at when we've done resumes, when we've done job interviews, when we're doing a social media post, when we're doing a speech, or whether we're sharing something about what we do, these are all pitching. These are all our first impressions. So
mm,
when we don't have to necessarily say we're constantly pitching, it's just sharing a story about who we are and what we do. And we've been doing it all our lives. We've just been doing it in very different forms. But what we have to think of is they're all forms of pitches, they're all forms of first impressions. And we all know from doing speeches that if we don't grab our audience within the first few seconds, then we're going to lose them, right? It's gone. So what I wanted to share with you as well is I do also have a book. I don't know if that'll be back to front for everybody, but this is another really great book. It's called Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. And
mm,
so this is another really good book as well as a good resource to go through, and it breaks down different forms of pitching. So that's a really good book as well. But with the structure that I actually use is that I break it down into 4 sections. So generally when I am doing my videos, I do make it personable to that first point of person, because I don't want it to be, if we're sending out 10 resumes or we're sending out 10 emails to everybody and it's just generic. So I do acknowledge the person and I am personable about who it is. So I would say, hi, Shola, and then go on from there. So what I do is I reiterate as well about what it is that I do. So that's when I would say I help people to empower, inspire change in their own lives and in the lives of others through the art of storytelling. So again, because even if you do know the person, you just want to let them know again who it is you are and what you do.
mm,
And then I go into paint that vision. So it's painting that vision of why do you care about what it is that you're about to tell them? So what are you passionate about? Why are you interested in it? And what impact has it had on your life? So I also use as well, so in the art of storytelling, and I'm happy to share this is not my content, this is someone else's content,
mm,
but when we talk about those emotions, so we talk about words and phrases that spark dopamine and all
mm,
of those feel good factors. So again, I do go back to my form that gives you some phrases that are going to then spark some of that emotional side that we do in our
mm.
posts, that we do in our speeches. So we can actually use that in our pitch as well. And so I paint that vision, use those feelings and emotion words, and then about why do I care about this subject, or why do I care about what it is that I'm pitching. And then after that, I'm actually going to then say, why should they be listening to me? How does it actually relate to them? What's the benefits? What's in it for them? So it's the same when we're doing speaking. It's what's in it for the audience. What are they going to get out of it? So that's when you're maybe thinking of, you could be using that problem solution scenario, but you could be turning around and more about that care factor. And then at the end of it, so that's like my step one. Basically, I introduce who they are and say hello, what it is that I do, and then paint that vision. Why do I care about it? And then what's in it for them? And then I finish off with what's next. So what do you need from them? So some of my pitches, it's about who can they connect me with. So when we talk about doing our pitches, we want to know what our ask is. What do we want to finish? The same as we're selling from stage, what do we want to get out of it at the end? What do we need them to do? So know exactly what it is that you're asking for. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned since doing this, is that some of them I probably maybe didn't know very much about my ask, or I didn't really know what I needed. So you want to be very clear with what you want the other person to do with that information, because then if they just watch your video and go, oh, that was a nice video, lovely person, on to the next. So you have to be very clear with your instructions about what you actually want. So whether it's resources, whether it's money, whether it's connection, or whether it's actually for them to pick up the phone and call you, that buy-in. So really know what that is at the end, so that you can have that end of your message and the next step for that person to take. So a bit of an example of one of my pitches that I did recently was, I started off by saying, hello Linda, me again, and started off and then did my spiel. And then the picture that I was painting was, I am helping a lot of the young people in the area. So I'm looking to set up some sort of startup with youths. And these are youths that are disengaged from the community. They're in trouble with the police. They're in probation. So I'm then getting them together and helping them with communication. So in that, I'm painting the picture to them is that let's help these disengaged youths. Let's help them be able to share their story. Let's help them with the tools and the skills to be able to be the future generation for us, because that's where the world is going with the startups. And then the benefit for them is it's going to be safer communities. Then we're all going to be working together. So painting that picture for them is, think of the bigger picture for the community, for the well-being of people, and again, the well-being of the youth. If they're able to share their story, then their mental health is going to be a lot better. They're not going to continue to be in trouble. And then from that one, for that particular pitch, is that I was asking her to connect me with people that have already been doing this and how they have been doing it, if there's been any systems in place. So I asked her to connect me with the startup hubs that were within my area and maybe 100 to 200 kilometers out. So that's what I needed her to do for me, was to connect me with those people. And that's exactly what she did out of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's my 4-step structure.
Super. So just to recap those 4 steps then.
Yep.
So you said the very first one is just to be personable and personalize your greeting, essentially.
Yes.
And then the second one is to paint the big vision of you, like what's your big why? What are you emotionally attached to and involved with? And sort of what's your, almost like your reason for being, right? That's to some extent. Then why listen to me, and sort of what's in it for them. So what will they get from actually listening, hearing you out?
Yeah.
And then finally, it was the call to action. So whether it's asking for connections, resources, money, wanting them to get back to you. So that's the final piece. Okay, brilliant.
Yep.
And so how long would that typically last, that whole thing?
So I normally do 2 to 3 minutes, because again, you want to give them enough for them to think, oh, I want to sit up and I want to know more. And you don't want to do it a lot longer than that, because again, people's attention spans are not the greatest these days. And especially if you're forwarding that to a business, it's again the same with it, receiving a resume or an email. You want to be able to grab their attention. They're very time poor. So 2 to 3 minutes, I can see that you can get your point across with what you need in 2 to 3 minutes. Definitely.
Okay, brilliant. And when you've done this, I mean, how long does it typically take for people to come back to you? Do they tend to jump straight on it because they're like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing? Or do they tend to take a little bit longer? Just because I can imagine that with some people, video is going to really catch their attention. But if you're just scanning a bunch of emails, it's much quicker than, well, I've got to click here and it's going to take me to YouTube and I've got to watch this. So there's a little bit extra commitment involved with watching a video. So how do you find the responses to that?
I find them really instant, because again, as you say, it's something different. It's maybe taking them away from their day-to-day of emails and whatever else that they're doing. So I have found, you know, within, basically with that one that I did, within a couple of days, I had a phone number. I had the phone number to that place, that town where I'm going to go up and help them with their public speaking. So that was literally within a couple of days, I had that all set up.
Wow, fabulous. Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of, let's say that their call to action, you're saying to them, I would love you to contact me. Do you specify, you know, this is my email address, or I'd love you to phone me, or, you know, how granular is your call to action?
Yeah. So with that, yes, obviously, if you're attaching it to an email, then you would have those contacts there. And I suppose I would say to them, if I don't hear from you, I'll follow up with you, because we all know that what can happen is that can all get lost in translation. So I would still be the person within the couple of days going, how did you go on with that video?
Okay. Okay.
Which I have done, and then the person's just, you know, they've maybe just been really busy. So I would always be that person in control of still being able to follow up with them, so that you can just say, and again, you can just do that call of, oh, hey, it's Melanie again. I just wondered how you got on with the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And then it just sparks that. Again, they're thinking, oh, that's right, I was coming back to you to do that. So again, you could just do a courtesy call just to check in with them and see if they'd received it and that they've watched it.
Brilliant. And follow-up is so important, isn't it? Because a lot of people, they fall down at that hurdle because they think if they don't hear back after the first contact, then forget it, they've just rejected me. And often people, as you say, are incredibly busy, and they're waiting for you to keep pestering them until they can actually act. Yes.
That's right. And that's something that I actually said the other day in a session that we were doing, and I said, I'm that person that's me again. Hey, it's me again. Hello. I'm not going anywhere. And I have had to do that a few times, but that's because I know that these people are business owners, they're CEOs. I know how busy they are, and I've been that person to keep going back to them. So I'm doing a training session next Wednesday, and this could really make or break my business, because it is a potential of someone that knows a lot of people in Queensland. And if I hadn't have kept following up with her, I wouldn't have that next week. So I have been the one that's kept going back to her, and she's apologized and said, I've just been really busy. No, we're definitely getting you in. And for me, I just wanted to confirm so that I know what I was doing. So it's definitely, I follow up and give people a call, follow up with emails, and yeah, definitely it is about that follow up.
Okay. And what's the most times you've ever, the biggest number of times you've ever had to kind of follow up or prompt somebody? I mean, is it sort of 3 times, 5 times, 10 times? What's the utmost you've had to?
I was thinking to myself, probably I've done anywhere between 3 to 7 follow-ups.
Okay, that's not bad then. That's not bad at all. Because they used to say it was 7, didn't they? And then now they say it's often like more than 12 because of social media, and it's people's attention spans are so short. So so that's good. Right. It's good. You're persistent. Love it. So I'd like to just touch back on, you talked about when you were talking about your point number, I think it was point number 2, and you were talking about certain phrases, emotional phrases that kind of jog people into a response. So perhaps you could share a couple of those with us so we get the idea of what those are, please.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking of those ones there that I've got. So some of them as well, and this would be for your endorphins, because and again, when you look at your own business, is that I don't know if anybody's heard of the archetypes. So it's the different people in your business. So again, when the words that you use, you're probably wanting to looking into your target market. So what do they do? Who are they? Because that will then help you with some of these different phrases. So if you go and Google your archetype, then you'll know, are they adventure people? So then you want to be using adventure, explore, all of those different types of words. So if I'm doing a lot of the ones around startups, then I'd probably be looking at talking about, you probably would be talking a lot around adventure and new and that change and the challenge. So those would be a lot of the words around that I would be using. And again, when we're talking about, startups or even anybody else, is that support, so that you're actually going to support them. You're maybe going to walk through them, hold their hand, be the guide, be the mentor. So those types of phrases as well. And it could be being authentic, taking them on the journey. And it could be teams. And again, a safe place, those community. So again, thinking about some of those words that are going to be a part of who your target market is. So you've got the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, and the endorphins. So there's 4 different pages that I had got from online. And I look at these when I'm doing posts as well as when I'm speaking and when I'm doing my pitches. So you could be saying the what if things don't change? Imagine what life would be like if you followed your dreams. Those types of things. And it could be the vision, so painting that vision. So imagine, vision, creativity. So those are all words that you could be able to adopt into some form of sentences or pitch. And again, you want to think of the words that you would use, because you don't want to use words that it's not something that sounds like you, because then it's not going to come across. So you want to be able to be comfortable with saying these words, and it is words that you would use day in, day out, because then it's going to be more natural to you, not feel really robotic from doing it.
Yes, that's really fascinating. And I'm sure a lot of people here haven't done a lot of work on archetypes. So, as you say, sort of look those up in Google. And is there a particular resource that you were using for this, or is it something that you put together that was custom created by you, or is it something we can find online?
So with the phrases, I can post that. I should be able to post that link on the page. I think it was just a free download that I got from, I think it's Keynote Content, it says on here. It's just on a PDF. It was just a free download of 100 words and phrases guaranteed to strengthen your message as a thought leader.
Super. Brilliant. If you wouldn't mind posting, that would be fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, definitely. Yeah. I can put the books as well for everybody to go on there. And with the structure of, basically, I took this from, if you've got to deliver a speech and you've got, less than 30 seconds to think about it, or to think about your elevation pitch. So basically, I've just pieced together things that we have to do on the top of our head, is to be able to structure that into how we do a pitch as well. So, I mean, it's not really anything new information. It's just something that I've pieced together to think, right, I could actually use this in all areas of my life. Because I always think that if you were in a situation where you were at a networking event and the speaker didn't turn up and they said, oh, does anybody want to come up and tell us about your business? Then you want to be in that position where you can go, yep, I'm ready to go. I'll come up and talk about my business for 45 minutes. So that's why I'm doing a lot of these types of structures and doing pitches and being able to confidently talk about my business. So in any situation, I would be able to do that and help other people do the same.
Super. Yeah, structures are so important, aren't they? Because I think if somebody's asked at work, can you put together a presentation tomorrow or next week? The thing that we need the most is a structure, because we know the information and it's just
Yeah.
basically hanging it off a carcass to kind of build
Yeah.
a living beast, right?
Yeah,
And people
that's
get so
right.
afraid. Yeah, and they
Yeah.
kind of get worried, like, how am I going to do this? And they try and recreate the wheel,
Yes.
but instead they don't need to. If they had structures, as you use,
Yeah.
they could quickly put together any speech. So that's
That's
incredibly
right.
useful. Yes.
Mm.
Okay, brilliant. So what I'd like to ask about now is what your
Yep.
tech setup is. I mean, how do you just do this on the phone? Do you use a desktop or a laptop computer? What do you do to actually make these videos look good and be hopefully not too onerous to create in the first place?
Well, I can tell you that I'm no videographer, so they're very basic, and
Okay.
I am not that technical. So this is easier for anybody to do because if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I use my phone for a lot of things, and basically I just go through my camera and record a video. And again, the great thing is if you haven't done these before, because they're pre-recorded, you can do as many takes as you want, go back, check them over, see if you like it, you can do some more. And so literally I use my phone, and I've just realized I didn't bring my speaker in with me into the room. That's okay. So I have bought a speaker that attaches to my phone, and I bought that a few months ago because just because the speaker sometimes in your phone isn't very loud, and most
Mm.
people are listening to them on their phone, and if their phone's up to the max, sometimes it can sound like you're whispering. So I do have a mic that just plugs into basically where your headphones are, and
Mm.
it was really cheap here, and so I just put that in. I've got my little mini stand that sits on the desk, and I literally just do my video. And because I've been doing a lot of them now, I literally don't have to go back and do any editing or changing.
Mm.
So then what I do is the only thing that I do is I do edit the end so that you don't see me going up and going, right? So that's the only
Yeah.
thing that I do is I trim off the end. So I make sure that I smile at the end for maybe 10 seconds so that I can go back and
Mhm.
edit. And then literally in my phone, it's an app on Android that it's Movie Maker. So any
Mm.
phone you can might have this already in there, or you can download it. And then what I do is I just put text in there, and that facility allows you to do it. And I put in my name and my business name so that that's
Mm.
showing the entire video
Mm.
so they know who I am. And again, that's really simple to do on your phone. And another one that you can do, and I have done it before, is you can add an image at the beginning and at the end. So what you could do is you could add an image of your business name, maybe your contact details or website as your last image that they get to see at the end. So
Mm.
that's something. And again, if you've already got that maybe on an image or a logo or something, you literally can go into your phone and just when you're editing it, you can just pop that in as add as an image. So that's literally all I do. So I would recommend getting some form of speaker on your phone just to make the sound quality better. Because again, when you're doing pitches, it's that first impression. And you wouldn't turn up in an interview, half dressed in your hair, not done, those types of things. So if we think about just those little extra things can go such a long way. And make sure that obviously the lighting and that's good quality
Mm.
when you've done it, because again, you don't want it to look as if you haven't made an effort. So when you're maybe replaying it, just check that the lighting, check that there's not maybe outside noise going on, so that there's
Mm.
nothing distracting. So those would be my tips, because I remember one day doing my video, and I live somewhere on a property, and there's generally not any noise. And this one day that I was actually doing it, I think every truck, tractor, and everybody was outside doing work, and I thought I need to do this pitch, and I locked myself in a room trying to do it, and I did listen back just to check that it hadn't picked anything up, and it didn't. So yeah, just make sure that you don't have the bin man or the postman, or you don't have anything of these things going on in the background.
Yeah, it's sod's law, isn't it? I mean, I've sat down to record
No.
modules for my call, so then the guy next door is remodeling his house, and it just happens the moment you sit down. It's crazy. So I'm totally with
I
you on
know.
that one. I get it.
That's
And
right. So
so in terms of
yeah,
the sort of sorry, quick question. In terms of your sort of
yeah,
post-production, how long would you
yeah.
say it takes you to put, this bit of text, the little bit of editing? I mean, how many minutes would you take per video once the actual recording is done?
Yeah. I mean, now I can do that in a matter of a couple of minutes. It doesn't take me that long to do it. And even before, when I didn't know how to do it, it is very easy to work out. So literally within doing a video, I would say I could do that within 5 to 10 minutes, is actually sit down, do my video, and okay, I've probably, written some stuff down, but to actually just do the video, edit it and send it, I would say I can do that within 5, 10 minutes.
Super. Brilliant. And for the impact it has over an email, yeah, well worth the time investment. Brilliant.
Definitely.
I had one last little question. What was it? Oh yeah, could you perhaps tell us, I know not everybody's going to be on Android, I am, but do you know the name of the mic that you use? Because people always like that sort of detail of the tech, if it's possible. You may not have it with you.
So I know, I meant to bring it in with it's a mic Rode, so it's RODE. Yep, you guys get that over there. So yeah, for me, I bought the mic, and it comes with a furry glove so that you can do videos outside and you don't get that wind. So for me, in Australia, I think it was about $70. So maybe in the UK, you might be able to get that maybe for £40, £50 maybe. So I think that's not that expensive for something that is going to add that better quality to your videos.
Super. Brilliant. Because I know that people will always ask about, what phone is it? What's the app? What is it? So,
that's right.
Yeah. But Rode, I think they're supposed to be industry leaders, aren't they, for these sort of little plug-in mics for the phone?
And I think they actually do the iPhone as well, because when I bought it, it said iPhones, iPads, that type of thing. And I actually asked in the shop and said, but I've got an Android, will that work? And they said, yeah, it's universal. So again, I suppose it depends on what type of iPhone you've got. I know that some of the later ones are not allowing you to use some of the more generic things. So maybe just check with that. But I think Rode should be fine to use for either.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do now, I've been so focused on you, Melanie, but I'm just going to check the feed to see if anybody's put any questions. Anyone out there? I think it's Elizabeth right now, but do you have any specific questions to ask Melanie while we're here together? Let's see, it might be someone else now. Anyone out there? I think it's Elizabeth right now, but do you have any specific questions to ask? Okay, that's my computer playing back. Let's turn that off. So I'm not seeing any questions right now. So I'll assume that we've covered everything. But of course, you're a member of the group and a very active member too. So if anybody has any questions for Melanie, I'm sure she'd be only too happy to answer them in a post. So if you have any specific questions, please just drop them in, tag Melanie, and then she can answer them for us. And thank you so much for those resources as well that you said you'd share, because that will really help people no end.
Definitely. Excellent.
So any last nuggets? You've shared with us so much, it's been fabulous. But any last nuggets you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I think just do it. That's what I just say to everybody. And don't wait to be perfect to get started. Is just do it, because we all have to start somewhere in day one. And I look back at videos, and I actually have my own closed group, and I throw them in every now and again and just say, look where I was a year ago. Look where I am now. So just, just get started and do it. And you just never know. It's not as scary as you think it is. It really isn't as scary as you think it is. And sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zones to move forward. So I think definitely just give it a go. And if you're just in home, then just start recording yourself and just look back on it, get some advice from someone else, get some feedback, and just start playing around with it on your phone and just start recording yourself.
Fabulous. Thank you for that. I'm just looking at the feed. Elizabeth said, she's covered most things I wanted to know. I just have to beat my video fright. So your last comment was perfect in terms of have a go. Yes, super.
Go for it, Elizabeth.
Yes. So thank you so much, Melanie. This has been really awesome. It's just very fresh content as well that I'm sure our members will really benefit from. So thanks for your time, and look forward to seeing your post in the group.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. And yes, I'm happy to take any questions. And yeah, I'll post all those things that I've talked about tonight on the group as well.
Super. It's been a real pleasure. Take care then, Melanie. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
See
Take
you
care.
later. Bye.